we have Firelock Games and the Phalanx Consortium are getting together to bring Blood and Valor to the tabletop, Ben.
So this was something that's been previewed over the last couple of weeks, and we'll start to see a full look at one of their miniature factions that's coming out as well. So this is going to be coming in December, and Blood and Valor is all about World War I wargaming, which is really cool. So it's going to be focused on the mechanics and the kind of gist of Blood and Plunder, which is obviously their sort of flagship game. And then they're now taking that mechanic and sort of fixing it up to be used in World War One. So they're going to have models coming out for the US, the late war French, and the late war Imperial Germans as well. They are going to be including British within the rules and stuff, but there are a lot of British models out there as well at the moment. And so they're like, hey, you can just use those if you want for this game, which I think is really, really cool. Sounds really interesting. Obviously, Blood and Plunder is a favorite that we've played quite a lot of. We really enjoy what they do with that game. Really fantastic models as well. Hopefully they'll go down the same route with what they've done here for the World War One stuff. So we'll have lots of nice one-piece things, which is really awesome for those people that want to get gaming straight away, which is really cool. World War One is something that we didn't necessarily see played out on the tabletop that often. So we're really interested in what they do. We've seen a lot of pictures of them sort of setting up really interesting battlefields with trenches and that kind of thing as well. But it wasn't all like that in World War One, especially towards the end and stuff. So it'll be really interesting to see what they do with that one and how it all plays out. So
if you hook back through the Historicon coverage, we played it. Well, I played it, and then I forced Jim to play it. So there's some really interesting things with it. They've tweaked the Blood and Plunder system, so it's not just a straight reskin. They've added things in like you start with a set amount of command points based on your commanders, and then they tick down. So every turn you bid on how many command you want to use. Yeah, and say you're starting with 9, I'm starting with 7. You might go, well, I can outbid you at the start, but then later on you won't get as many. If you run out of command points, you still get to activate, but you're always going to be counting as activating on a 0, or you'll have bidded a 0, bidded, which means rather than activating 2 units, you only get to activate 1. Right. So you can't just go, I'm just going to burn it all so quickly, because then you really are hamstrung later on. But they've even done things like, I think anybody who fought in it is getting a list, and they've included people for their own personal amusement. So Tolkien fought in World War One, so he's in it. He's in it as a, it's not like he was a VC winner. Normally when you pick up a game like this, it is, if they have named people in it, like Christopher Lee appears in Bolt Action, and they've got them because they're quirky rather than actually going, well, here's somebody who won all the medals. So I like that. It's just a really nice touch. And that, I think Rufus was saying that just was because it tickled him. That's why Tolkien is in there.
And did Tolkien win medals?
No, I don't believe so. No, it's simply
he was there.
He was there, and it's like, well, I'm going to include him. The game board.
Is Captain Blackadder there too?
I would be very depressed if he wasn't. along with Darling and George. So we played on that. There are not rules for tanks.
There is a tank scenario though.
But it's about capturing. You can't do anything with it.
It's something I did talk to Rufus about. Was people were going, "Oh, you're doing World War One. Where's the tanks?" And he was just like, "No, that's not the kind of game I'm making."
Oh, so they're not arriving the tanks at any point then?
No, the whole idea of it is it's not the massed battles. It's not trench warfare. It's about the skirmishes in no man's land.
It's the only
small segments of the
it's the only really interesting way to do World War One, because this is where the interesting engagements took place, because the trench warfare, as we have discussed at length over the years, trench warfare makes for a very bad war game.
Well, no man's land makes for a bad war game. If you get your war game starting where it's you invading the opponent's trenches, there you get some interest.
Well, but it's in general. In general.
So very tight little skirmish game, good fun. Definitely worth watching.
And we have Firelock joining us in the studio next week.
Yes, so I'm looking forward to see what they've brought with them.
Yeah, so we're going to be spending a week with the guys at Firelock, getting some filming and stuff and some content to bring to you guys of the new and the latest stuff that they have coming.
So if you've got questions and stuff, this weekend would be the best place to ask
if there's
them.
anything you want to know from Firelock, get them into the comments below, and we will do our best to...
I have seen them putting a big push on for Oak and Iron as well, so I'm very curious to see what stage they're at with it.
Yes, me too.
Well, the rule book for Oak and Iron is completely free to download right now, by the way, so you can go and give that a look if you want.
Guess where I'm going.